I'm just walking back to my car and I'm thinking of what I used to do when I first got divorced. Now, if you don't know a little bit of my background, I've been married 3 times. That's right. Once in my 20s. Twice in my 20s. Twice in my 20s and once in my 30s. I was 21. He passed. Then I was 23. He's the father of my 2 sons. And then I was 36. And initially, when I got divorced, well, I was young. That's one thing. But I felt like a divorcee. Yeah, not a good feeling. I didn't feel good about myself. I kind of acted out, I guess you could say. And actually, when I got divorced, I was here in Elliott Lake. When I got divorced from the father of my kids, I was here in Elliott Lake, and my lifestyle was very different. And then when I got divorced the second time, I did feel even worse because I didn't have a car. The ex-husband had taken the car away from me, and it was just having to start over, being broke, having to, of course, manage all the expenses by myself. And of course, when we split up, he wanted me to sign a separation agreement, and we did it together. I was so reluctant. I didn't really want to agree to what we were signing, but I felt I didn't have a choice because I wanted him out of the house. Anyway, suffice to say, it was a difficult time. It was a really challenging time. So I really know what it's like. Now, I have to say, too, that, sometimes you get divorced and you might be happy. It might be more of a relief for you. But even if it's a relief, you'll still go through some ups and downs because things are a little bit easier when you have a partner. Again, depending on the partner, all right? I'm generalizing here a lot. So it does take a long time to start feeling ourselves again and to start really enjoying our lives as a single woman. It took me quite a while because I remember initially I would go out a lot. That was my way of dealing with my reality. I didn't like my reality. I had such a hard time being alone, although I had my kids with me, but I still, during the evenings when they were in bed, I had to be alone, and I had such a difficult time with that. And on weekends, it was very challenging too. So that took a while. And I really had a hard time accepting my feelings. So I think this is part of it, right? There's a process involved. Part of it is accepting. And if we don't accept easily or quickly, we're stuck. We're stuck in that anger. We're stuck in that frustration. We're stuck in a place where we're not moving forward. We're just kind of stuck, So it helps to work with someone. Now, you might need therapy. Who am I to say if you need therapy or not? You might need a coach instead. It really depends on where you are. Like if you're still feeling depressed and sad, you might need to see a doctor because it really depends on what you're experiencing. But if you're feeling like it's time for me to move on, I'm ready. I might need support, but I'm ready to move on. That's what I'm here for. I want you to start feeling encouraged and confident again. I don't want you to feel unworthy and worthless of whatever good things happen your way. No, you need to get yourself to feeling, I'm worth this. I'm so worth it. And to start living your life as if, and even not just as if, but start living your life like you are worthy of it, because you certainly are. So that's what I'm here for. I'm also a travel coach. So at some point along the way, once we start talking a little bit more about your feelings, and we start setting some goals around that, and maybe even some self-care, because I think that's really important too, because we forget about ourselves when we're in a marriage. Part of the reasons we separate are because we lose ourselves, and we're not getting the affection or the attention that we need, and sometimes we seek it elsewhere. So there's some self-care involved in that too. But at some point, I might even recommend a trip. That's right, because that's what we do. But we don't just recommend a trip, right? Because it's really about you choosing an experience that you think will make such a difference that you will come back from that experience as completely transformed. Pretty well like what happened to me when I walked the Camino. And of course, you'll hear me talk about the Camino, but it doesn't have to be a Camino because we all have our different comfort levels. But know that if you work with me as your coach, we'll talk about it at some point. Maybe not initially, but unless you want to, of course, unless you're ready to start traveling more on your own. But we might need to talk about other things before we get to a trip. But I think a trip could be a really great way to get you back in your groove again. Yeah. All right, I'll leave you with that. If you do want more information on my services, you can go to my website, lyndagrobert.com. You can also send me an email at backinthegrooveagain@gmail.com, and I will send you information on how you can schedule a meeting. All right, see you later.